We lift weights for the purpose of gaining muscle, and yes, that is the reason we do it, for all possible goals that people do it for. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to talk to you guys about this. So when I say that, people will argue like, no, I have other reasons I want to lift. Like, no, those are your goals, but that's not why you're lifting, okay? That would be like saying, no, I'm putting gas in my car, right? Or petrol, depending on where you live. I forget, there's a few people who use that term. You're putting gasoline in your car not because you want to drive from Houston to Dallas. That's the end goal. You're putting gasoline in your car because the engine won't run without it. It's required to make the engine run, right? There's a minor difference there, and it's the same with lifting weights. All right, people say I lift weights because I want to lose body fat and look leaner and more toned. Yep, it's because it gains muscle. I lift weights because my doctor said it'll help me stave off cancer, and I'm a cancer survivor. Yep, does that through gaining muscle. I lift weights because I want to throw a ball harder and faster or jump higher. Yep, it does that primarily by helping you gain muscle. See where we're going with all this? Notice they all come back to the lifting weights to gain muscle. I've heard it helps prevent type 2 diabetes. Yes, by helping you gain muscle. All these health outcomes are a result of gaining muscle mass. All of them. So when you're training, you should be thinking in terms of that when you're in the gym, and this is why this matters. And I'll go into all those in a minute of explaining how that works. But that's why when you're in the gym, you need to be thinking, is what I'm doing helping me gain muscle? Now, if you're trying to sculpt specific parts of your body, it's probably really important to know which specific muscles you're doing. In other words, you're seeing me do, some laterals here in a second, but I'm doing heavy deadlifts right here. Well, if my goal is to cap my shoulders and get that round delt up at the top, the deadlifts are probably not going to help with that. They're going to gain 20 times more muscle total through my body, which towards those other goals. But, obviously, if I want, bigger delts, I should probably train the delts. In fact, we could even get into specific heads. If you want bigger rear delts, you should probably make sure you're training the rear delts, right? These chin-ups are doing that, though. But so do laterals and reverse flies and stuff. So setting aside specific body sculpting, most of what we're doing is trying to gain muscle through our whole body, ideally. So how does that matter for body composition? Well, people talk about getting toned. Well, you're not trying to just lose fat. You're not trying to just make the muscle a little harder, because if you lose all the fat around the muscle, you don't gain any muscle. Let's say the average person who has never worked out in their life, never been physically active, if the muscles just got slightly harder and they lost all the fat around it and inside of it, because we have intramuscular fat, you would just look emaciated. You would look like someone who had basically had a muscle wasting disease or was starved. Okay, that's what you would look like. You wouldn't look toned at all, because the muscles are going to be way smaller, and you're going to realize how little muscle you have. You get people who are like, well, I've got a little bit of body fat, but I've got a lot of muscle under here. Like, really walk over and deadlift 500 pounds then. Well, there's no way I could do that. You don't have as much muscle as you think you do. Okay? Context. You probably don't have that much muscle. All right? Tell me you got a lot of muscle, and, bench press half of what I'm doing right here. You think you got half the muscle I do under there? Bench half of this. All right. You guys get the point. You don't. By building muscle, we speed up our metabolism. We speed up our energy turnover. We speed up our need. We burn more calories walking around. We burn more calories sleeping once we put on a significant amount of muscle. And particularly once we start walking around doing other activities. All right? So that's desirable. Plus, you're going to look better. Losing body fat just makes you look skinnier. Gaining muscle makes you look more toned, and it makes you look better. It gives you a nicer body. Think all those bikini girls and stuff you see everywhere, and the different models you see doing stuff, and dancers, and a lot of these women with great bodies, you don't think they lift weights? You don't think the men with impressive, nice bodies you see anywhere in Hollywood, you don't think they lift weights all the time? Okay? Of course they do. They've gained muscle, all of them, significant amounts. Just because they don't look like a bodybuilder doesn't mean they haven't gained muscle. Okay? They just haven't taken it to the farthest, most possible extreme. All right. Generally speaking, that's where you should be focusing on, gaining muscle, and it will help you with all those things. That's what people are thinking of with tone. They're talking about, I've lost fat and I've gained significant amounts of muscle. That's what makes you look toned. Cancers, diabetes, all that stuff, better insulin control, better insulin sensitivity, better nutrient partitioning. The muscle tissue fights these things off. The muscle tissue competes with tumors for fuel. The more the better. Okay, and I want to be clear there. The more muscle you have, the better your body is at fighting off cancer. The more muscle and the less fat you have, the better your body is at preventing diabetes. More muscle from training has even been found to be correlated with reduced poor cardiovascular health, and a lot of it has to do with the better health markers. Okay? All these things add up. This is what helps do these things. Athletic performance. All force production, the ability to produce force, is neurodrive, motor unit stuff, combined with cross-sectional area of your muscle fibers. In other words, yes, a skill of throwing a ball, a skill of jumping, of punching, kicking, all these things that different types of athletes do, yes, it has a neurological component. But the force production will be limited by the muscles. In other words, no matter how skilled you are, or how good you are, or how much you practice, your muscle fibers involved with that movement will determine the amount of force you are physically capable of producing. Good athletes and even a good martial artist is just really good at using the muscle they have. Oftentimes absurdly good at using the muscle that they have. Okay? Again, a very serious MMA fighter is good at using the muscle they have for what they're doing. Way, way, way more than the average person would be. But if they gained muscle, they would produce more force. So think about that with what you're doing in the gym. Think in those terms. Am I gaining muscle with what I'm doing? All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.